We're going to add these 4 problems to your notes. We're going to go through the 4. I'm going to review, recap the main points to solving, because these are the next section to your homework, which is the 10.3, the second page of your packet. We will start that in class, and then you'll finish it for homework. So on the first one, our steps are always circle the angle that's given, then label the parts in relationship to the angle. So if 36 is my angle and I go across, x is the opposite. If I go right next to it, y is the adjacent, and then 8, which is opposite the right angle, is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is always opposite the right angle. You have to focus on the sides that you're going to use to solve. So if I'm going to solve for x, that means I use the variable x and a given side. The only given side I have is the 8. So I'm looking at opposite and hypotenuse. What trig function deals with opposite and hypotenuse? Yeah, sine. So I'll just write these down just to help you again. All right, so this would be sine. So I would write the sine of 36, the angle, equals, and then I write the ratio of opposite over hypotenuse. That would be x over 8. You have to show this first to receive credit on your test and quiz. Now, on the video, I talked about a shortcut based on where the variable is. Does anyone remember? Yeah, if the x is at the bottom, you switch it, or the variable's at the bottom, you switch it. If it's at the top, we're just multiplying. So you would write x, you would show the operation. X is equal to 8, and I'm just using parentheses to show multiplication. 8 times the sine of 36. Oops, I wrote 63. All right, sine of 36. So if you show that, it's very important that you show the operation, what to do to solve it, because if you type it in incorrectly for some reason, but you have that, you will still receive full credit. That's showing mastery, understanding. So now you would have to go to your calculator and type in, I'm going to do a whole new document. If you have a different calculator, I'll show you. You go to 8 times, and then go to your trig, sine 36, hit enter, and we round to the nearest 10. 4.7, correct. So x is approximately 4.7. I'm going to bring this down, bring that down. Okay, so now we solve for y. We're going to do trig again. Now, y is dealing with the adjacent, and again, the hypotenuse. So what trig ratio deals with adjacent and hypotenuse? Yeah, the cosine, the c. So we write cosine of 36 equals, now we got to do the ratio, adjacent over hypotenuse. That would be y over 8. Again, the variable is where? On the top. So when it's on the top, you just multiply. Y would equal 8 times the cosine of 36. You're now just putting that into the calculator. So you're going to have to physically type that in, get your answer, round to the nearest 10th. Yeah, y is approximately 6.5. Oops. Yes. All right, so when the variable's on the top, you multiply, okay? If we look at this next example, same steps. You start off circling the angle, label the parts in relationship to the angle. So now 10 is going to be opposite, x is going to be adjacent, and the y is going to be the hypotenuse. So for x, if you're doing, which one are you doing? X or y? You got to pick the variable first. All right, so if I focus on x, that would be adjacent and opposite. That would be tangent. So I would write tangent of 64 equals opposite over adjacent, 10 over x. Now notice where the variable is. It's on the bottom. So when it's on the bottom, we're just going to switch these two. X equals 10 divided by tangent of 64. So now we're going to show or type in division in our calculator. And you're just going to say 10 divided by, that's not 10, sorry. And then go to our tangent, 64, enter 4.9. Yep, rounding to the nearest tenth. If you have a different calculator and you bring it to class and you want me to show, I can probably show you how to get your trig function.
I have this
This app we're using? Yeah.
It gave me, okay, so I switched from...
On the phone, I have to look it up. I can show you physically. I know there's a video. I haven't found it yet, though. But I can, like, if you have your phone, I can show you how to get to your trig functions on your phone. Okay. You flip it. Yeah, it's there. Mhm. What was this one? I forgot. Yes, you can.
Yeah, Y is 4.
What was our
X is 4.4.
Yeah. All right. Here's the trig button.
It wasn't giving me the same results as you.
It probably would be, you got to make sure it's same thing, radians and degrees. Yeah. We should get 11.1 for Y. What trig did we use? Yeah, sine, because you should be using opposite, yeah, an opposite and hypotenuse. So sine of 64 equals 10 over Y, opposite over hypotenuse. No, it's not the same. Why would you think it's the same answer? Yeah. Yeah. This one is sine. The other one's tangent. It has two different values. They're not the same. Yeah, Y is approximately 11.1.
See, when we do it together, what am I looking at?
Okay, so, all right. The last one, this one, or that one? Okay, on the next one, huh? Yeah, now we're doing the inverse because this is, X is our angle. Whenever you're trying to find the angle, we're now doing the inverse. We're still doing the same steps. This would be adjacent and hypotenuse. What you got to know what trig ratio, that's cosine. So you would write cosine of X equals 8 over 18. But because X is what we're trying to find, which is the angle, we have to do the inverse. So we would write cosine -1, 8 over 18. So now we take the inverse and we round to the nearest whole number. Because we're trying to find it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we got to go to our trig, cosine inverse. Oops. Adjacent and hypotenuse. So it'd be 64. We round to the whole number. When it comes to angles, you round to the whole. Yeah, 64. You're going to round to the nearest whole number for degrees. Okay, 64. Whole number for degrees, yeah. Because we're trying to find the angle. Okay, so are you want to start with X again or Y? Okay, so we circle Y. And then we label the parts in relationship to Y. 12 would be what? Opposite. And 4 is the adjacent. So what trig function deals with opposite and adjacent? All right, so we write tangent of Y equals opposite, which is 12, adjacent, which is 4. So Y is now going to be the tan inverse, because we're trying to find the angle, 12 over 4. So do your tan inverse of 12 over 4. Once you get the ratios, it becomes, what does this become? Yeah, 72. All right, work smart, not overwork. Don't overwork. If Y is 72, guys, what is X? Subtract from what? Yeah. So 18, we're done. We're not going to do a whole nother trig problem for that.
Wait, Ms. Harway, how do you type in the inverse on the calculator?
So when you go to trig, it's right underneath it.
Oh, okay.
So then you would do, what was our ratio? 12 over 4, yeah. And then we ran to the nearest home. Okay, so we have, sorry. Yes, yeah. So if x is on the inside, because that represents an angle, or the variable's on the inside, if you're trying to find an angle, that's always the inverse, the -1. If it's on the outside, that's a psi, you do the regular. Yes. All right, so we have this. Then we had, get out your homework packet. I'm going to start talking about the trig part. And then go back if you have questions. Just start the trig. Okay, so we're going to go start with the 10.1-10.3. Okay? So I need you to go to that section. At this point, we're done with our notes. You can keep your foldable out if you want to, but that needs to be in your spiral, okay? In your spiral, along with the 4 extra examples we did. So you have some reference material to help you, okay? Pay attention to the video again if you need to get through the homework. This packet right here. No, that's warm up, an exit ticket, okay? Tomorrow. This pack is due tomorrow. Okay, on the first one, guys, it says find the value of each ratio to the nearest 10,000ths. So on this first one, all they want you to do is type in cosine of 43. So they just want you to, it says cosine 43 degrees, so they just want you to put the cosine 43, hit enter, and then round to the nearest 10,000ths. That is 4 zeros, right? 10,000? So that means that's 4 digits. Yeah, so So for our first one, 0.7314, and we're done. So try the next one. If they give you sine in the degrees and they want to the nearest 10,000, that's 4 digits. Yeah. All right, we're done with those. Straight calculator function. No. Okay, no. All right, so this is what we did Friday. Friday, and in your foldable, it asks for you to write the ratio, okay, as a fraction, and then find the measure of A. We're going to do all 5 here, or 4. So since this is the sine of A, what angle do you think they're talking about? A, so circle A. It's the same steps every time. Circle the angle, label the parts in relationship to the angle. 13 is hypotenuse. Yeah, 12 is opposite, 5 is adjacent. So if I'm doing sine of A, sine is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so give me my opposite value and my hypotenuse value. So you just write 12 over 13 and you're done. That's it. Can that fraction be reduced? No. So we're done. All right, so cosine of A. Cosine of angle A. Yeah, 5 over 13. Yeah, because it's adjacent over hypotenuse. All right, and then tangent of A. Yep, 12 over 5. Yep, it cannot be simplified, so that is our answer. Now, how do we get to the measure of angle A? You do the inverse. Okay, which one do you want to do the inverse of? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Okay, so do sine, inverse, and then you type in 12 over 13. So you would literally have to type that into the calculator. Sine inverse 12 over 13, and round to the nearest whole number. For degrees, it's whole. So 67 degrees. All right. Okay, so you must have typed something wrong.
I did 13 over 13.
All right, so on this one, they now want us to do the sine of B. So V is our angle. We have to, for sine, that's always opposite over hypotenuse. So what is opposite angle V? 6 root 6. What is the hypotenuse?
12 root 3.
12 root 3. Can this be reduced?
Yeah.
Yes.
3 and the square root make the 6.
We have to push the.
Cancel out the 3, make the 6 a 2, you said, okay.
Oh.
I'm going to move this. Yeah, and this.
So it's root 2.
So root 2.
I wrote this wrong. She said cancel out the 3. Because 3 can go into 6.
Yeah.
2 times.
So then you get 2.
Yeah, so 6 root 2 over 12. And then the 6 and the 12 can be reduced. So basically she has
Root 2 over 2.
root 2. Yeah, root 2 over 2. Yeah, root 2 over 2. Because, well, that's like 1. Yeah. All right, so now we're going to do the cosine of V.
2 root 54 over 12.
It's adjacent over hypotenuse. So, yeah, 2 root 54
12 root 3.
over 12 root 3. Yeah, you do the same thing. Can 3 go into 54? Yes. So cancel out the 3 again. Because 3 go into 54. Okay, so square root of 18 over. No, it shouldn't be. Yeah.
Over 2.
Isn't it 6?
Yeah, it's 6. It's 6.
Right. Yeah, because the 2 and the 12.
And then.
Yes, you do have to factor the 18. Yes. So, yeah, 2 and 9.
Which is
3.
3 root 2.
No, it's just root 2.
No, it's 2 over 2.
Mhm.
2 over 2. It's root 2 over 2.
Yeah. Yes, the final answer is root 2 over 2. Really, I didn't say you were wrong. I know, because I need them to get to the answer too. Okay? You did it. All right, now they want the tangent of W. So now we're looking at the different angle. Yeah. How do we do tangent? Opposite over adjacent, excuse me. So the opposite would be 2 root 54 over 6 root 6. All right, yes, it can be simplified. 6 can go on 54, correct? Yes. What's the square root of 9? 3. Okay, so
3 is 6. So
over 6, which is just 1. Yep, the answer is 1.
wow.
Dang it. The answer is 1.
Alright, let's put sign on W.
Yeah, they were back in the day. I never had one that big, but yes. All right, now, next section. Oh, you know how to do the W, right? No, you do it. Can inverse. Because you got to do the inverse to find the angle. So you could do the tan inverse of 1. Well, she picked the tan. She just picked that one. It doesn't matter which one you use. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Okay, 5 through 8. Let me just break it down. They've already wrote the ratio in the equation for you. They want you to determine what operation you have to do to solve it. So, on number 5, pay attention to where the variable is. So how do we solve if it's on the top? You multiply. So x is equal to 19. 56. Yep. So you're going to have to do 19 times tangent 56 because x was on the top. But then on 7, where is the variable? At the bottom. So we switch them. Yeah. So now we divide. Well, no, I didn't just move it. I showed why it ended up being that way. I didn't just move it. I showed you that when you cross multiply, you're going to end up dividing. But now that we know that that happens every time, now I can just skip a step. Yes. When the variable's on the bottom, yes. What about number 8?
It's x equals inverse
Yes.
18 over
X equals inverse of tangent 18 over 95. Good job. All right, we're starting to see the patterns. Guys, repetition does work sometimes. Okay? Okay. All right, now, here, when we get to this section, now you're going to have to circle the angle, come up with the trig ratio, write the equation. Okay? So on number 9, we always start off with circling our angle. Then label, we have opposite, and we have adjacent. What trig function deals with opposite and adjacent? Tangent. So now we're going to write tangent of 28 equals 14 over x. Then notice where the variable's at the bottom. So what do we do? Yes. Yeah, switch it and divide. Okay. On 10, always start with circling the angle and then label the parts in relationship to the angle. 7 is the opposite. Yep, 25 is the hypotenuse. What trig ratio deals with opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. All right, so we write sine of x equals 7 over 25. Okay, if you already recognize that, yes, Chris, you can skip a step. Okay? He already saw that it's going to be the inverse. So he wrote sine inverse 7 over 25. How did you get it was inverse, Chris? Because you're trying to find an angle. X is the angle. Whenever x is the angle, you have to do the inverse. All right. So, again, we have more of following the steps. Circling the angle, labeling the parts, writing the equation. All right, I need to go to more difficult. Let's go to 17 and 18. This is a little bit more difficult. All right, so to do this, you're going to have to do one part at a time. So, like, for example, BC. Okay? BC is this side. Okay? So I'm going to put that as X. That's who we're trying to find. What parts do you have? We have angle 50 and 30 inches and 25. Okay, we need a side. We need to use this 30 inches. This 30 inches will represent what part in the triangle? The hypotenuse. So it would be the hypotenuse of this whole triangle right here. So we're now using the 25, not the 50. Does that make sense? Okay. So we have opposite and hypotenuse. Yeah. So what trig function would that be? Yep. So we're now going to write sine of 25 equals opposite x over hypotenuse, which is 30. Yep. So we're multiplying. X equals 30 times the sine of 25. Okay, you're going to have to find one to get to the other. So we're going to literally go in there. What do we have? 50? 30 and sine 25. All right, so we round to the nearest 10th. What we get? All right, 12.7. So now that we have that measurement, BC is going to be 12.7. I'm going to go ahead and put it over here as well. 12.7. Because I want us to find BD.
Wait, why did Oh.
I did. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. All right, BD represents what? Yeah, now it's the hypotenuse of the smaller triangle of BCD. So now I'm using the 50, and I'm going to use Y as my hypotenuse for BD. Opposite of hypotenuse again, it's still sine, but now we're doing the sine of what? Sine of 50 equals opposite of hypotenuse. What do I write? Yeah, 12.7 over y. Good. Now look where the variable is. Yeah, switch it on the bottom.
12.7 over sine of B.
Yeah. Yeah, that will give me my y. So now we put that in the calculator. 12.7 divided by sine of 15. I'm telling you. No. Yes. So I'm saying no. Okay. All right, so the key to this is to do one at a time. No, it wasn't too hard. All right, so EF. Notice EF is this segment here. I'm going to go ahead and label that X. So if I'm going to use EF, I got to use which angle?
48.
Yeah, 48.
Yeah. So opposite and adjacent.
Very good. Opposite and adjacent. And that is which ratio? Yep, it's tangent. So you write tangent of 48 equals opposite over adjacent. What is 32 over X? Yep. And make sure you flip to the bottom. Don't flip to the top. Flip to the bottom where X is. Yes.
You wrote 45 too because you heard her.
Oh, yeah, I did. It's 48. It's 48. All right. Type in 32 divided by the tangent of 48. All right, 28.8, yes. So we got 28.8.
How does the sine function work? Like, what is it trying to like? What is it?
It's basically it's looking at the ratio between angles and basically several triangles, and they saw how that ratio changed every time for a right triangle to come up with those measurements. Like I'll show you tomorrow. I'll put up a picture of they used to have to calculate it using a slide rule, and basically it was just all these, yeah, and they had to look at the averages between them.
So it's an average?
Well, yeah, because you're looking at all different right triangles. Yeah. All right, tangent.
Does it that fast?
Well, the calculator does, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't that fast when you had to do it by hand, no.
It took a while.
All right, EG. I'm going to make that my Y. Now we're using the... All right, so what?
You gotta get that opposite.
Opposite and adjacent, right? So the tangent, 35 equals 32 over Y. Opposite over adjacent. Yeah, EG is my whole side. I'm using the whole triangle. And then, do you know how to figure out FG? Subtract, right? You just subtract, yes. Okay, you just subtract. Okay.
How would you know which one? So if you get a negative number, then opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. Y equals 32 over the tangent 35. Well, I have to put that in the calculator. So we got, wait, did I do that right? 45.7? All right, so if EG, the whole segment is 45.7, and EF is 28.8.
G is 6.9.
Huh? Yep. You subtract them. Uh-huh. Okay. All right, then these are word problems. Same thing. You have to draw pictures, but it's the same process. Huh?